Okay guys, I am back. And in the last video, we made this civilian car, this very easy car to make, and we talked about how surprised I was about how shape plays a role in making a car, and how understanding of shape plays a role in a car. I know I always say on my channel that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to make stuff, but actually, in this case, you do have to understand how basic shapes work to make something work, apparently. So, really, it's very easy to just make a flat square and put wheels on and make it move. But apparently, art matters. I can't believe I just said that, but art matters. And I'm not going to take it back. It does. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a few other cars out of basic shapes. So, the first one we're going to make is a pickup truck. I think that's the right name for it. If it's not, forgive me. So the first thing you need to do is take out your build tool. And the second thing is go over to the plus sign tool and go ahead and add a normal block, right? And then we're going to go ahead and change its size with the size tool, and the size tool is called the X tool, or I call it the bubble tool because it has all those little bubbles in it. We're going to go ahead and resize it to make sort of the bed of the truck, and you can just call this a little rectangle shape or just a straight line shape is what we're making here. And this is just sort of the first step of making, we'll call it a flatbed pickup truck. And you can see here, this is sort of the shape we have. It might need to be longer in the end this way. And the next step is we're going to make sort of a cube like this. So watch, I'll paint it black so you can watch what happens. And what I did to make this piece is I clicked on this, and the yellow always shows up. And I hit Shift-C, which lets you copy. See how I copied that? So I have my copy over here, and I painted it black with the V tool, which is the paint bucket. And now I'm going to quickly copy and show you guys how to make the next part of the truck. So I'm going to use my resize bubble tool to make it sort of a tiny piece, which I'm going to copy and put up here. And then I'm going to copy and resize and put down like this. And copy and put down like this. And this is the basic geometry of a flatbed pickup truck, right? And I know it doesn't, well, it does sort of look like a pickup truck. It also sort of looks like a worm. So when you get on here, you can put your stuff on your truck, or you can get in here and drive it around. But the next step for making your truck, right? So say you're making this with me, is we need to reshape the front of the truck to look more like a truck, because you don't want your truck to look like a square. That's ugly, right? And I know all of you watching think that. So we need to pull this back a little bit, right? And you use your resize to reshape like this, and you have to pull this down a little bit, and you have to make a small, and I'm going to paint it blue so you can see. Remember the V tools to paint, and you make a small cube here. Just make it have some more sides. And basically how I'm adding all these blocks is the Shift-C. Here, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to click this blue side and hit Shift-C. That's how you copy. I'll never say it enough. Shift-C's to copy. And now you see how I have this little cube here. And notice how it looks even more like a truck. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glass for the front of the truck right here. So, the glass will be yellow in the beginning, but then I'll change it. I'm just painting it yellow so you see the geometry that we have going on. So now, this is what we have. And doesn't that look more like a truck? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 lines beneath the truck as our base, right? So we go over to our plus tool and add a block right here, and we paint it purple with our V tool right here, add tool right here, and the add tool is how you add blocks. And we move our purple block underneath our truck with the Z tool here. And then we use the X tool to extend it underneath, like this. And we're going to need it to be a little bit longer, so go over to the left side of your screen and click both, and then extend it out just a wee bit, because you don't want your wheels to touch your truck. And I think I'm going to leave the sides of my truck open, because in lots of old-timey drawings, the sides of trucks are open, even though rainwater would get in them. We don't need to get into it. Now, I copied this purple block, so make sure you hit Shift-C and copy your purple block, and pull it to the back of your flatbed truck. And now you can see this is sort of what we've got. We have a straight line, we have a rectangle, and a smaller rectangle. And I'm going to add some circles now for the wheels. So now we need to go to our plus tool, and we need to add a cylinder, which is also a circle. I don't know why they call it a cylinder. We can call it a circle. And I'm going to use my resize tool to sort of shrink it down, and make sure your both is on so you don't just like resize one side. And scale it up a little bit. And I'm going to paint this like a nice light blue. And now we're going to go to our cube tool, click on one side of our wheel, and add hinges. And remember how you add hinges is on the left side when you're in your cube tool. And then you rotate around and you want to add hinges to the other side of your wheel. And then we go to our move tool and we go ahead and move our wheel onto our truck. We want to make sure it makes a perfect connection. And then we go ahead and just hit Shift, click both sets of wheels, copy them, and attach them to the other side. I'm just making sure that they're perfectly attached, because remember, if wheels aren't perfectly attached, they fall off. So now I'm going to add a nice seat in here, because like, it's a little cramped. So now I'm going to copy this cube, and sort of slide it back in like this, and paint it like a brown, and then shrink it down a little bit, to make a nice little seat inside the cabin, like this. Realistic, huh? Now I'm going to go to the plus tool over here and add a vehicle seat. And I'm just going to test the vehicle seat out here so it's not facing the wrong direction. Looks like it's facing the right direction. And I'm going to paint it red with the V tool. I changed my mind. I want it to be green. Red just feels too powerful in this case. Now I'm just going to stick it in there. Now you can see I'll be able to drive my truck. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this yellow glass that we have in here and go to the End tool, go to Transparency, it has to be 0.7. Now you can see that I can see through the glass now. And our pickup truck is ready. It doesn't look perfectly like a pickup truck, but there's lots we could do to change it. But it's ready to be welded, so I'm going to click Shift, click off in the distance, drag, and then hit Shift-C, copy it, then deselect the wheels, all while I'm still holding Shift, so I'm still holding Shift. Then I'm going to go to the Chain tool, Weld Last, which means I've welded everything to everything, other than the wheels. Never weld the wheels to the car, otherwise it won't work. I'm going to click on the Z tool, click off in the distance, drag, unanchor everything. And now, as you can see, we have a pickup truck. And if I drive it over here by the other car, you'll notice some similarities. You can see how this thing uses a rectangle and a trapezoid, and this thing uses essentially a cube, and a tinier cube, and a tiny cube, and then like, I don't know what you would call this shape. Is it like a crushed cube? But essentially, how you make the cars with simple shapes. And in the next video, I will make a different car and show you how to make that. So, have a good one.